Hey guys, it's Ben with Myers Woodshop. I got another printer in the shop. This is a follow-up to the FLSun Q5. I cannot recommend that printer enough. It is a fantastic workhorse of a printer. Set it, print, and go, and leave it. That's how my experience was of that printer. Again, there's three things that a printer needs to have. It is, what are the three things? So there's a few things that a printer really needs to have for me to recommend it, and that is live Z adjust for sure within the software, and one of the other things is a filament sensor. So when the filament runs out, it will stop the machine. You can swap out the filament and keep going. Now the Q5 did not have one, but all of the other components of the machine and the reliability and just the amount of work that it could do without any tinkering was so fantastic it overrode that one thing. I don't believe this one does either, which is a huge downfall. It's probably like $5 on their part and they would have that. But anyways, let's dig into this machine, see if it's at least as good as the Q5 and maybe, hopefully better, because it's more expensive, it's bigger, and it's the Pro version.
Pro.
So let's open the box and see what we got. So the package is fairly large and fairly heavy.
That's what she said.
All right, so here's what we have. Let's dig into it. Have the power cord, all of the zip ties, the probe attachment, looks like some gel of some sort, hot end, just a bunch of components. We have the tool bag, of course, that always comes with the snippers, a bunch of bolts and Allen keys. A spatula, naturally. The instruction manual, which for the most part in the last one was really good, and this one looks to be the same, which is impressive for a Chinese machine. We have the end rails, vertical rails over here. They're very, very thin sheet metal, it feels like. This is the probe here for manual or automatic bed leveling. Part of the filament holder. The extruder. The rods. Some sample filament you might as well throw away because it's not very good. The top of the machine. This will be all of the components of the arms, and here I'm going to leave that in so it doesn't fall all apart while I pull out the bottom of the machine where all the brains are. That's the bottom of the machine, and that's everything in the box. All right, we finished assembly. So now we'll just plug it in and make sure we got it all right. This was a little bit harder than the FLSun Q5. Did have a little bit more parts, although it's still very easy. And the instructions are really good. Now there's two bags of bolts that come in here. One is the spare, and one is all the same size. There's about 20 of them. Only open the same size bolt bag. That's the only ones you'll use. The other ones, they're not labeled of where they go, and I think they're spares for all the other parts. So just keep that in mind. So we'll just plug in the power back here. All right, we're gonna turn it on. Check out the screen. I'll zoom you in so we can see what that looks like. I turned it on, nothing happened. It's because it's on 220 and not 110. So there's a, you can see the switch in through here. There's a little red button. It's got a big yellow deal. I've just slide it over to 115. Now we'll turn it on. And here we go, FLSun booted up really fast, much faster than the other FLSun. Screen looks exactly the same. We have set, all about the machine. Says it has an MKS Robin Mini 2.0. Robin Mini, the version is 2.0.7 in here. We need to peel off the bed and then auto level it. All right, so the bed has like this screen protector on it. You're gonna wanna peel that off, just like so. We're gonna get the probe. That's this little piece. And that plugs in right here. And then it magnets down here like that. So this is gonna auto bed level. So when we do that, we're gonna come over here and we're gonna click on, this is under Tools, Auto Level, and we'll click on Auto Level. This reminds us to plug in the probe first, and we hit Confirm. And that's it, we've leveled the bed. It's gonna check the center now, I think. Or it's gonna run it a second time. All right, so that did the leveling process. So now we have to come down and just do the Z. So we'll take a piece of paper. I'm using the piece of paper that they gave. And we're gonna go to, click Move Z. We need to remove this probe first. We'll hit Confirm. So we'll click Adjust Z, and then we're gonna move down. Oops, I didn't quite get close enough. We're gonna try to get it to where it just barely pinches this paper. We're gonna go back. We're gonna say Adjust Z, Move Z. So it brings it down again. And this is getting our Z pretty close. Then we'll click Adjust Z. We'll click Save. And I will say that this touchscreen is very responsive. We are finished. The machine is set up. So now all we need to do is install the filament up top and try a test print. So let's go ahead and get some filament. And for the test print, I'm not even going to use their filament. 99% of the time, the filament that comes with the machine is usually garbage. So I'm just going to put this in here to Tools, change the extruder. We'll hit in. It's going to heat up the nozzle so it can push in some filament. All right, I just stuck the filament in. We're going to hit Continue. We're going to hit In. We're going to Confirm. And it's going to start loading filament. You can see it's winding around and pulling the filament in. Does look like they test the printers because some white came out. And my filament hasn't made it down that far yet. So that's very nice. It's just finishing loading. Confirm. I'm going to go ahead and load a little bit more. Just want to make sure we get full flow through here. There is a bit of grinding up here, like it can't push enough out, which means I need to tighten this up. Or the hot end is just not hot enough. It is just trying to push filament out and really can't. It's grinding up here. I think that's because the hot end is only at 190 and it's not quite hot enough. It is not pulling it through evenly during a load. Pretty much grabbing and grinding as it goes. We're gonna go ahead and assume that the temperature is not hot enough. We'll actually judge it when we get to actually printing something. So we'll hit confirm for now and we'll go back. The better thing would be to go ahead and manually heat up the hot end to the desired temperature and then try to change it. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and put the SD card in, and that's in this pack here. We'll try printing a file that's on the SD card. We'll go to print, test 1, test 2, test 3. We'll do test 1. I don't know what that'll be, but we'll hit go. It's gonna heat the bed up to, it looks like 70 degrees. All right, so it finished the print. Came off pretty easy. I didn't touch it, it just snapped off. Here's the print. So, relatively good print. It's the quality of the print. It looks really good. Layers, can't really see them. Everything turned out really well. Printed well. It's a good print, but of course that's the test. So let's test one more and see how it goes. All right, I finished up print number 2. This is the screw and bolt. This is what I did on the other one. That popped off pretty easy. That popped off a little harder. Let's see how good the threads are. Yeah, perfect. I mean, I'm not really trying very hard just to thread this, but threads perfectly. You can see everything is really, really nice. Really good print on that. Haven't done anything between the two prints. Of course, this is still the test print. So there's test print number 2. Let's do test print number 3. All right, we finished test print 3. This is the last of the test prints. It is an elephant that articulates, at least in the legs and the head, which are always cool. Articulating things are pretty neat. So that is a pretty good print. I'm very happy with that quality. Of course, test prints are always usually pretty good, but do have a little bit of weird overhangness here and some circling on the head and the top of the body. But overall, that's a good test print. And everything came out working. Articulating shows how pretty good your dimensions are in your printing. And this one all articulates just fine. So the dimensions are good. So far we've had 3 test prints that were all pre-sliced from FLSun. They were all very good. True test is when I slice my own file and see how well that does. Now this is the FLSun QQ Pro. That is in Cura 4.8. It already has a predetermined machine for that. I'm going to go ahead and slice a file I sell on Etsy and load it on here and print it out and see how well it does. All right, 2.5 just finished. This is what they are supposed to look like. This is the 2. This is 2.5. You can see it looks very similar, so the print is probably very good. It did print a brim around the outside, and I will probably need a spatula to get this one off since it's flatter. Yeah, so we'll use the spatula to get this one off. There we go. Once we get one side in, it's pretty easy. So print quality on this one, pretty good. Now peel off the brim. Comes off nice and easy. Print quality is good, acceptable. This is off of my Prusa on the right. This is off the FLSun. The Prusa is 3 times more than this printer, so we are doing pretty good on this print. Bottom does have a little bit of defects around the circle here. We do have a line here or here. Nothing that affects the print or the functionality at all. I just need to dial in the Z height and we'll be good on that. But good print off of my own Cura-based print. This was just a quick sliced up setting. So far so good. We're going to print one more print. We're going to utilize the whole bed. So let's check that out. All right, our test cube just finished. You can see we have a very pretty test cube. I'm going to peel off the brim. Test cube is really good. There's the Z. Looks good. The X. The other Z. The Y. It's a really pretty test cube. X, Y, and Z. So far, really good. This was a file I grabbed off Thingiverse and sliced myself with the default settings in the Cura profile. One more file. This is going to be a big one. We're going to print a giant spaceship. See how it does on this giant bed. So let's give it a shot. All right, so we just finished the big rocket test on the FLSun. This one took 4 hours and 9 minutes. It printed pretty well. Let's see if I can get it off without breaking it. Probably not. Spatula. There we go. So, the rocket, it's single wall and it prints fast. The bottom fins came out pretty nice, but you can see there's some bumpies in here. Okay, you can see there's some bumpies in here. There's some lines right here. And the tip, little poof, not quite straight. We do have a seam going up the side, but I did not put this in base mode, so that's normal, but you can see it. Overall, though, it's a pretty good print, especially the fins came out pretty well. There is a bump or two down on the fins, but overall, good print. One of the tallest prints that this can print, you can see I have maybe 1.5 inches left over, just shy of how tall it can go, but printed well, printed fast. Not high quality, but printed well. So that is another user Thingiverse input into this machine. All right, so this is the FLSun QQ-S Pro. You saw it print 5 prints. They all turned out pretty good. Again, I had the 2 and the third one that my kids ran off with already that were the test prints. That was the elephant, the bolt and nut, and the articulating elephant that they left. Then I had the XYZ calibration cube, and I had the rocket. And the rocket turned out pretty good. All produced pretty good prints. I would say that it is not as quiet as the FLSun Q5. I don't know what is up with mine. it's supposed to have silent drivers, which it is silent, but it's not as silent. It is still miles more quieter than most any other printer in its printing class. So if you want this in another room, this would work. Other machines, you're gonna hear through the door. So totally different. Again, FLSun, what are you doing? Why did you not include a filament sensor on any of your printers? Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Let's measure the total height of this thing with the filament on the top. You're looking at 40 inches tall, just over 3 feet. And the bed, you'll need, I'm being generous here, let's say 16 to 18 inches wide for just space if you're looking to put this somewhere. It does have to be taller than it normally does because it has all these arms that move. So you lose this much in space of just the machine being where it is. So when you're looking at this thing, it's printing from about here down to the bed. Things I love about this printer, it is a workhorse just like the FLSun Q5. You put it in, you print, you set it, forget it, and it's done. It is no different on this machine than it is on that machine. That's what you want in a printer. Reliability, no tinkering. You got that. Setup took 15 minutes max, very straightforward. The instructions were really good. So that's really, really nice. Things I don't like about this printer, it's louder than the Q5. I don't know why. It is really, really tall, and you may not have the space height-wise for it. And it doesn't have a filament sensor. I'm repeating that a second time because it's so stupid. It's probably a $5 thing they can add on, and it makes all the difference. It does have a 32-bit mainboard in here. There's a bunch of firmwares you can upgrade and mess around with that. I have not done any of that. I just did stock. If you go to the Facebook page for FLSun, it's a Facebook group. There's a bunch of files and firmwares and profiles in there, and you can get everything you need. It's a very helpful group, and I think that's the way they officially distribute their firmware for this too, so it's a little different. Remember, I had to switch the power supply on the bottom of this from 220 to 110. Mine came 220, won't work. It's not gonna damage if you plug it in, you just have to flip that switch. And everything else, if you need any instructions or anything, it actually comes on the SD card, so pop that into your computer. It's gonna have your instructions and stuff. All right, so that's it for this video. That is the FLSun QQ-S Pro. Great printer, I recommend it. It's worth the money. It's under $300, I think. And it's just a good printer, and it's fast. That is the #1 thing you get with Delta printers, because the bed doesn't have to move and everything doesn't have to move. These are independent arms, so it just is usually a third to double as fast as every other printer that I've had in the shop. It prints things fast. So that's the benefit of this machine. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you want to get one of these, I'll leave links in the description so you can click on those and get this machine. For more things on 3D printing, lasers, CNCs, technology in the shop, check out my other videos. Hit that subscribe button so you can see more printing videos, more reviews, stuff like this coming out in the future. And as always, happy printing. Yeah, go ahead. So that's about it for this video. Blah. Hit cancel there and I'll start a... All right, let's measure on the... Blah. For more 3D printing videos, check out my other... For more 3D... I don't know what I'm saying.